All right, good afternoon, Algebra 2. This is period 4 and it's period 7. I'm just putting everyone together. This video will not be quite as fun as my first video that I made when I had half my period 4 class to help and respond. So you know what, I'm going to have to crack some jokes to keep me motivated. And this one actually is for my period 2 study hall. I knew this dude one time, and he had this girlfriend, and she was the square root of negative 100. She was a perfect 10, but also imaginary. Okay, now let's get really started. Okay, this note page goes with the writing transformation functions. And so I'll do the first three problems are going to be new, then we'll review 2 graphs, and then the bottom 4 problems are also new. So first of all, what the directions are going to say is to take the function and you're writing the equation. So first of all, let's look at what type of function is the first one. Well, if it's a u, remember that was our quadratic, and it's opening down. Opening down would be the same as reflecting the x-axis. So when we write this equation, let's put f of x. Okay, so think about, I put in parentheses, quadratic is quantity squared, so put a 2 here. So figure out first of all, what the stretch of the graph is. If I have to go over 1, then I have to go down 4. So my stretch should be 4, but it's opening down or reflecting the x-axis. Same thing for a quadratic or something that has a vertex. So in parentheses moves it left or right. So if I'm going from 0, I'm going to the right 3. So what does that mean? If it goes to the right 3, remember it's the opposite. What actually makes that equal to 0 would be if I put 3 in for x. So when it moves it to the right, it should be a minus, and then it moves it up 2. So my function for this should be f of x equals negative 4, and then the quantity of x minus 3 squared plus 2. All right, so there's the equation for 1. If you look at 2, 2 should be our absolute value function, which is our v. So again, let's put f of x equals 2. Let's put our absolute value function. So again, if you look from here, it's 1 away in either direction, so it doesn't have a stretch, same as our parent function, so it should just be 1, but it's opening down or reflecting the x-axis, so that's where a negative comes into play here. And then if it moves it 2 units from 0 to the left, that's really x plus 2. What do you have to put in to make it equal 0? It would be negative 2, and then it shifts it up 3. So there's plus 3 on the outside. So there's our absolute value function. F of x equals negative absolute value of x plus 2 plus 3. All right, so number 3, what type of function is that? Remember that was a half of a sideways u, was that square root function? It's the inverse of a parabola. So let's write this function. Does it have a stretch? So look from where it starts to the next point. If it's 1 away, it has no stretch, so I don't need to put a number in front. You got to create your symbol, your absolute value. From 0, what is it getting moved? If you look, it counts to the left 4. So we put x plus 4, and then it shifted up 1. So we have f of x equals the absolute value of x, the square root of x plus 4 plus 1. So there we wrote 3 functions. Let's review our couple graphs. So I would like in this section to put in your worksheet that you're going to get a worksheet today, and then another one on Wednesday. Both of them are kind of be review sections, and then a quiz on Friday on this. So for this, the parent function, so we should write the cube root, because it's the radical symbol, but our root is 3 here. So if the plus 6 is not underneath, it's outside, it's the up or down one. So if it's plus 6, it moves it up 6, is what it's getting from 0. So think about our normal our parent function, our cube root function, is 1 away on either direction, and then it's up 2 over 8 and down 2 and to the left 8. It was perfect cubes away, perfect cube roots away from 0. So if you look at this, we're taking that function and just shifting it up 6. So from 0, we shifted up 6. And then it's 1 away in either direction. So let's just check to make sure that makes sense. If we put in 0 for x underneath, what's the cube root of 0? 0 plus 6 should be 6. If we put 1 in, what's the cube root of 1? 1 plus 6 should be the 7. So 1, 7. So if you go up 2, you go over 8, or down 2 to the left 8. Okay, and again, let's make sure that makes sense for that point. That was really putting 8 in. What's the cube root of 8? 2. 2 plus 6 is 8. At 8, it's also at 8. So there's our cube root that shifted up 6 from the parent function. Okay, so then if you look, okay, this is the inverse of it. We have the cubic function. So the parent function is cubic, third power. This time it's getting moved to the right 3 and down 2. So it's the opposite of that, it's the inverse. It's perfect cubes away, it's 1 away in either direction, and over 2 and up 8, to the left 2 and down 8. So from this, you go to the right 3 and down 2. It's 1 away in either direction, and it's over 2 and up 8. So it should be at 4, 6. Or to the left 2 and down 8. So it should be at negative 110. So let's check or positive 1. Let's check 1. 1 minus 3 should be negative 2. Negative 2 cubed is negative 8. Negative 8 minus 2 should be the negative 10. So there's our cubic function that shifted to the right 3, down 2. And you can always plug points in to make sure it works. So I want you to read the direction for the next set while I erase the board, and we'll go over those together. Okay, so we're given a bunch of clues about the function, and we're not given the graph like we did for 1 through 3. This time, we have to write the function given clues. So if you read the first one, it says absolute value, vertical shift up 5, horizontal shift right 3. So let's write our function, f of x equals, is there a stretch? So this means it's a shifting up. So that's your k, the up or down, and this is shifting right. That's the h, left or right. So there's no stretch, but we need to put your absolute value symbols and look at the right 3. So for it to be the right 3, we need it to be the minus. So if we put 3 in for x, we get out 0, and then it's up 5. So we have the absolute value of x minus 3, and then plus 5. 7 is a cubic function. So we have cubic, so let's write f of x equals, and it just has a stretch of 3. So nothing's happened, nothing left or right, up or down, so it's just to the third power, so we can just say x cubed and a stretch of 3. So 3, we can just say 3x cubed here. So for number 8, we have a square root, so we need our radical symbol. It's going up 5 and to the left 3. So if we write our function, so I would see it has no stretch, so it's just going to be a 1 in front, which I don't need to write, but I need to put, so if it's left or right, I have to extend my square root symbol. If it's left 3, it's actually going to be your x plus 3, and then it's up 5, plus 5 on the outside. So we have cube root function. So our cube root function, so for number 9, we have f of x equals, okay, so we need a cube root of x. So the only thing it's doing is reflecting the x-axis. So if it reflects, it's the same as like our problem we talked about, quadratic. If it reflects, it opens down. So this time you just put the negative out front. So if you think about what the cube root function looks like, and if you see that it reflects, it's going to look like this. It'll be this function right here, if it reflects the x-axis. All right, so your homework assignment is posted. So if you have questions, feel free, please, to email me. And you guys have been good about putting comments. I will check comments daily, probably every hour if I can. All right, have a good day, everyone.